everybody. I'm Tilde Wahardo. I'm the founder of Womanars. And thank you for joining us today for Tuesdays with Tilde. We have a really special guest today. Her name is Jenny Gray. And Jenny and I met several weeks ago at a Empowering a Billion Women event. And actually, it was back, I think, earlier this year when we actually met. But anyway, she is really passionate about empowering women with the way that they dress and feel about themselves. She is the founder of Empowered Style, and I hope I got that right, and if not, she's going to correct me. Empowered Style Club, which is a new platform that she's developed for women in really helping you figure out what your body type is and what clothes best suit you. So, Jenny, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Tilde. Hey, everybody.
So, tell people a little bit about yourself first, and how you basically just tell them your story and how you got to be so passionate about the things that you're doing now for women.
Okay. Well, I am from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, good old Southern girl, and I've always been very style oriented. I was always that girl at the slumber parties growing up where I would do the extreme makeover with everybody at the party, do their hair and their makeup. I loved getting that little shy girl in high school that was kind of mousy, and I would give her a makeover for the prom or for that dance or whatever. And then I just always felt so rewarded when she would present herself or come into that into the room, and everybody would go, "Wow, what did happen to her? What did you do to her?" And I always feel like there are women out there who really don't appreciate themselves and their own beauty, both inner and outer. And when you can enhance those great features and bring them out, just the confidence that a woman can feel about herself, and that she actually likes herself and likes the way she looks, that to me is everything. And that's what I think empowering women is all about, is lifting them up, lifting their confidence up, however you can do that. And in my field, I do it with making them feel good about themselves on the outside. But by doing that, it allows them to let their guards down and to be able to share themselves, their true inner gifts with the world, because they are no longer inhibited. And that's basically what I do. I started out going through high school and college with an eating disorder. I had bulimia, and I had just a very distorted body image. I knew, obviously, I was not, that magazine type model. I did not have that body, and back then, everyone, and I guess they still do, but everyone aspired to that. They wanted to be that perfect 10 and rock their clothes and all that stuff. And by today's standards, I think I had actually a pretty good body. I was very curvy. I was a pear shaped, and but back then it was not the trendy body type or whatever to have. And so I was constantly yo-yo dieting and depriving myself, and getting on the scale 4 or 5 times a day and torturing myself.
Wow.
Because I wanted to have that, that look. And, finally I realized one day I was in college and I was like, I've had enough. I've had enough of treating my body like this. And so I decided that I was just going to heal myself, which I did. And so what I decided to do was, instead of beating myself up about it, I decided to take an objective look at my body. And I realized that, although I had this pear-shaped body, I had some pretty good features. I had this nice little waist. I had a nice smaller upper body. And I had a rounder bottom. And so I experimented with my clothing, and I learned how to dress myself to where I was enhancing those great features, and I was kind of downplaying the features that I didn't think were as good. And what happened was I became a very confident woman. I started really liking myself again. And what I realized is that when I had confidence in myself, the way that I attracted others, I mean, it just naturally flowed. It was like the more confidence I had in myself, the more others were drawn to me. And I think that is the key to, to success, the key to life, the key to professional business women who go out there in sales and have to present themselves. If they're feeling good about themselves, good about how they look, then they're going to be that more attractive to others.
So you mentioned that you battled with bulimia, and I'm sure that there's still many women out there that might be watching this, or maybe not watching it today, but it might eventually get to them. What would you say, or looking back on that, Jenny, what causes that? I mean, I know for each individual it's different, but for you, what made you, get to that point to where, bulimia became sort of a way of life for you?
I think that the problem today starts very young with young girls, and the role models that they choose, or the role models that they don't choose, the role models that are just out there. And I mean, like, you look at the Kardashians, I'm just throwing that out as an example. These women who are just so unrealistic, and, whether you like Kim Kardashian's big butt or not, that's kind of become the stand, that really curvy shape is becoming the standard. And it's kind of ironic now, because a lot of these little skinny girls are having body issues because they don't look like that, which is kind of exactly the opposite of where I was back in those days. But I definitely think it starts very early with girls. Just the self-hatred. They're very critical of themselves, and they're constantly looking to other people for inspiration and for validation. And I think that's where it all starts. Of course, young girls are very vulnerable anyway, and by today's societal standards, there aren't very many girls that fit into that mold, especially when they're 12 and 13 years old. And I think that's where it all starts. And as parents, I have a 17-year-old daughter now, and she's constantly, she'll eat a chocolate muffin and then 2 minutes later turns to me and says, "Mom, I'm fat." And I'm like, "Oh, well, don't eat the muffin," So, we all struggle with it. I try to teach my daughter healthy eating. I realize, and the big thing is, for me, when I was growing up through it, is my mom was constantly trying to put me on a diet because she was a chubby child. And she was like, "I just don't want you to have to go through that I went through. And I just want you to be happy and this and that." And the fact is that, growing up, we are all going to have to experience highs and lows in our lives, and the lows in our lives, the things that we don't want to happen to us, if we gain a few pounds or whatever, that's a life learning experience, and we just have to learn how to deal with it. If you gained a few pounds and you need to move a little bit more and eat a little bit less. And that's what I try to teach my daughter. I don't monitor what she eats or anything like that, because I feel like I don't want to fuel that fire. That's
right.
The fire in me. And gave me, 15, 18 years of struggle. I don't want my daughter to deal with that.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So how were you, and I'm going to take a little break here because I think, Joella, thank you for commenting on our Facebook page. Joella Phillip writes, "Be humble in your confidence, yet courageous in your character." And I totally agree with you. Thank you for sharing that. And going back to your story, Jenny, because there's always, I was listening to Tony Robbins the other night and watching his documentary, "I'm Not Your Guru." And he said something really profound that hit me. And that was so true. And he said that all your life is made up of these moments, right? It's like the moment that you decide to take your health back into your own hands. It didn't take you 10 years to do that, or take you 10 years to decide, to get married or to get divorced. There's that moment in time, that little shift that happens in our brains where we decide to do something different or to try something different. And so what was that moment in time for you, in struggling with bulimia that shifted for you, and why did it happen?
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, this is kind of gross, but with bulimia, you purge,
Right.
and it's like when you're binging, your serotonin levels are really high, and you're like, I need to have that sugar because I've been depriving myself. But then when you purge, it's kind of like coming off of a drug or something. Like you get really down.
Mm.
Oh, why am I doing this to myself? It's bad for you, just like any other addiction. It's bad for you, and and it's like you've already experienced the pleasure, and now you're experienced the aftermath of the pleasure, and it's just like, God, this is gross. I hate myself. Why am I doing this to myself? And then, one day I was just like, I'm done. I am done. I don't care if I gain 15 pounds because I'm not going to do this to myself anymore.
Mm.
And I think, at some point you just draw the line in the sand and you just decide, I need to make a change.
Yeah.
So that's
kind
of how it
awesome.
happened.
So
And faith.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So what did you start doing differently once you made up your mind to stop doing that? I mean, how did your life change from that point forward?
Well, the one thing I learned, the one thing I did not do was I didn't deprive myself anymore, because that's kind of that's the trigger of eating disorders, period, is when you deprive yourself of something that you want. And then now these days, I have my styling clients, and it's so funny. It's like when you're a hairdresser, you're also a psychiatrist. So like, as a stylist, I'm also kind of I don't want to say a psychiatrist, but almost like a life coach, because I have to, it's kind of a personal thing when you're taking your clothes off in front of somebody and having them dress you, so you're kind
right.
of, and so I do hear that a lot about women, like, I don't want to buy anything, or I don't want to spend any money because I've got these 10 pounds to lose or whatever. And I'm like, well, the first thing I say is, well, how long have you needed to lose these 10 pounds? And if they say, oh, I've been trying to lose this weight for 10 years or for 5 years or whatever, I say to them, okay, you've wanted to lose it for 10 years or 5 years, but yet you haven't done it yet. What makes you think that you're going to do it now? And why can't you love yourself for how you look right now?
Yeah.
And the light bulb comes on, and they're like, well, because I know that I am overweight. And I'm like, well, every woman comes in different shapes and sizes. That's what makes the world go round. And I'm like, look around at you. How many fabulous women who are considered to be overweight do you know? I mean, the movie star or the public figures are astronomical. I mean, I look at Oprah Winfrey, who I think is a gorgeous woman.
Yeah.
And she's yo-yo dieted for, gosh, how many years? I mean, I remember her going up and down with her weight at least 10 times. And she said it too. She said, finally, I am able to accept myself for who I am. I know that the lifestyle that I want to live and the things that I enjoy, it's not worth giving those things up to have this ideal body. And you look at her magazine. I think her magazine is still around. I know the network is not doing well, but I look at her magazine and I see her photo shoots. And granted, I know that there is some blushing going on there or whatever, but she rocks it.
Yeah,
she's a beautiful woman, and she's not thin. I mean, she's got a voluptuous figure, and I could tick off 6 or 7 of those types of women who. Adele, for instance.
Yeah.
I mean, beautiful woman, beautiful voice, and a beautiful face, the whole package. And she's not. So what makes women think that they have to be thin in order to be accepted?
Right.
In order to be taken seriously, in order to be lovable.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I know that you and I had this conversation, because I know you guys that are watching this via video can't see Jenny and what she's wearing, but I can tell you every time I've seen Jenny, she just looks amazing. She looks fabulous. She looks like $1,000,000. And she is, her and I had a private chat one day because she had watched one of the Tuesdays with Tilde and had reached out to me and asked if she could make some suggestions for me about what I was wearing. And I said, of course, because I'm really open. If you don't know me, I'm open to constructive criticism, or if I can do something better, I always want to hear it. So just so you know, you can always PM me. But anyway, Jenny had reached out to me, and I said, yeah, of course, I would love it. So she gave me this little tip about wearing different blouses because to enhance my breasts. And I thought, I know, Dave, go figure. Dave is really happy. So anyway, I said, and the irony to her saying that to me is that I had been watching some of the replays for the Tuesdays with Tilde, and I had noticed what I was wearing, and I had actually been going shopping and things like that, and this is the heaviest that I've ever been, and I shared that with Jenny when I talked to her. I said, and I realized in looking at those replays that I was hiding behind my clothes. And the clothes that I was selecting were making me feel even bigger. And, and making me feel smaller as well. The confidence level wasn't there as high as it could be. And so when Jenny reached out to me, I took it to heart. And so I started looking for things that enhance my body. And when I did that, I mean, just the first time that I wore a shirt that actually enhanced, my breast and everything else, it was like putting on a different persona, or really just stepping into my own power again and my own confidence and being able to feel invincible again. Right? I mean, there was something that happens, I think, when we put on those clothes that make us feel more like ourselves. And whatever that is, whatever that piece of clothing is that makes you feel that. So I just want to let you guys know that I have personally experienced Jenny's transformative work, if you will, and she's really helpful. And I think what I want to talk about now, Jenny, is how you really help women. I mean, and drill it down to, because I know you deal mainly with teaching women about their body types and how to really rock their clothes, to enhance the body types that they have. So talk a little bit about the different body types.
Yeah, every women come in all different shapes and sizes. I mean, obviously, but predominantly, there are 5 body types that most women fall into. Now, some women have a combination of 2, but for the most part, everyone falls into one category of the overall 5 categories. And this is not something new. This is something that's been talked about for years. But I think a lot of women just kind of ignore it. Either they ignore it or they really just don't know. And I do talk to women who just have no clue. But the 5 body types, of course, are the apple, the pear, the rectangle, the hourglass, and the inverted triangle. And it's pretty self-explanatory there. But the point is that there are no better body types than the other. There are certain challenges that each one of these body types has. And what I have learned through my experience, what I try to teach my clients, is that you have to learn how to play up your good features, your good body features, and to minimize your not so great features, because we all have them. It's really funny, in my styling business, I'll be working with someone who I think is just a knockout, and all she sees in the mirror is that one little flaw. And she cannot get over that flaw. And it is the craziest thing. It's like, I don't even see it. And I tell her, I don't even know what you're talking about. And she's like, no, it's, whatever it is. And she just can't see past this one flaw. So that's the whole body type theory that I have, and I call this optical diversion, which is basically drawing the eye where you want it to go and to divert the eye away from the areas where you don't want it to go. And you can accomplish this in a few different ways. Number one, you can accomplish it by the cut of the clothing, how the clothes are cut, where they are, how they fit against the body, how they drape on the body. The second way that you can use optical diversion and to create that visual impact is through pattern. Is through the pattern that the cloth or the material has, which can actually trick the eye to do what you want it to do. And the third way is through color and through pops of color. Darker colors go in certain areas, brighter colors go in other areas, depending on what your body type is. And through the combination of those three things, you can pretty much accomplish what you want to accomplish as far as enhancing your best features. And, one thing that I tell my clients, I'm a true believer in this, is trends are fun. And magazines, printed magazines, that's how they make their money every season on hyping or playing up those trends. The clothing lines do it too. They create trends. But trends are not our friend. Not all of us can rock the latest trend. So what I try to train my clients on is to focus on the types of clothing that flatter you. Don't follow the trend. And sometimes and here we go. Clothes should be fun, right? Yeah. Clothes are an expression of ourselves. They're an expression of our personality. So let's not take ourselves too seriously here. We can still have fun with clothing, with trends and all that stuff. But as far as investing in a wardrobe for the long term, you really want to focus on clothing that flatters you and not follow those trends.
Yeah.
Picking up something as an accessory, a fun pair of shoes, or a scarf that is trendy, or jewelry, or a top, or whatever, that's great. But for the most part, be mindful of your clothing purchases and have a strategy. That's my advice, is to have a clothing strategy, have a wardrobe strategy.
So I know this is like a hot topic right now, because you've had different stylists come up with different ways of filling up your closet, basically. So how many items, and what I love about you too is that you're price conscious, you're budget conscious when it comes to the types of or the articles of clothing that we should have in our closet. So what are some staples that we should really consider as entrepreneurs and as businesswomen, to have in our closet?
Okay, well, let me address one thing real quick. I am price conscious. I do realize that not everyone can walk into Neiman Marcus and buy, that runway couture quality clothing. I do realize that. But I do want to make our audience aware that instead of analyzing your purchases by the price that it is or the cost that it is, you want to analyze your clothing by cost per wear. So, because when you invest in a nice, good quality, say, pair of black pants, everybody needs a pair of nice black pants that fit them well. You don't want to wear them one season and then have to throw them away. You want to invest in quality so that you can get multiple wears and dry cleanings and have that pair of pants last a long time. This is going to decrease your cost per wear, which in the long run is going to actually save you money. So although like in my styling club, my online styling club, I recommend clothing of all different price levels. I'm a big proponent of buying less, but but spending your money wisely on
Yeah.
quality clothing. So with that in mind, my favorite wardrobe building strategy that I teach my professional women, especially, I teach everyone this because I think it's so smart, but for my professional women, is to build your wardrobe with columns of color, and choose the colors. And these, I'm talking about neutral colors where you build your foundation. Choose the colors that work for you, and that's a whole other topic that I could get into as far as which colors are good for
Right.
you. I'm not going to go there today. That's for later down the road. But when I say building columns of color, I mean picking 3 or 4 base colors, neutral colors that look good on you, and building a column which consists of a very nice quality pair of pants in a tropical base, tropical weight wool or a gabardine, and a matching tank, which a good quality tank that will not just last for 1 or 2 seasons, but will actually last you a few years. And when you build the columns of color, and I'll just give you an example of my color columns that I have in my closet. Of course, I have a column of black. I have a column of what I call winter white, which is actually not just for the winter, but it's basically white, but it's not that bright white. It's what we call winter white, or you can call it white. Now, of course, based on your coloring, you may choose a creamier color as opposed to the winter white. But like I said, we get into that later. My third color column is a brown or a camel, which is a little lighter than a dark chocolate brown. And then my fourth column of color is navy. So when you build a column of color, if you have 3 or 4 columns, yes, you are talking about 3 or 4 pair of really good pants and 3 or 4 nice tanks that you will invest in. We're talking about investment pieces that will last you 3-4 years. And then you use layering to mix and match your columns. So from the columns, you go and you find jackets and cardigan sweaters and scarves and blouses that will incorporate those different colors into those pieces so that you can wear them across your columns. And this will allow you to purchase less pieces of clothing, but you have many more options as to how to wear that clothing.
Yeah. I love that concept because it's so much more. I mean, when like I go into my closet and I've been purging for the past 2 years continually. Right, not the food, the closet. Thank you, Dave.
Back to that.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, but I find it overwhelming to have so much clothes in my closet sometimes. It's like, okay, what do I really want to wear? Instead of just having those, like you said, staples that you can go to and mix and match and create different outfits on a daily basis. I mean, to me, that would be, a lot less stress than having to go into a closet. It's almost like going to a restaurant where you have a book for a menu and you can't, it's overload of choices.
Right.
And you find it really hard to decide.
And it also makes packing for a trip so much easier.
My gosh, yes.
It's really funny how like I will go on a trip, like say when we met, it was an out of town trip for me. And I was able to pack 5 days of clothing into a carry-on bag, which I never had to check. I mean, it was just one of those small little overhead bin bags. And someone I saw at the airport, they were like, "You're staying here for 5 days and that's all you brought?" And I'm like, "Well, yes, because guess what? I brought 2 columns, the tank and the pant, or a skirt, whatever you prefer."
Yeah.
I only had to bring 2 pair of shoes because, each shoe goes with each column. And then I brought a few little overlay pieces with a few accessories. And guess what? I had 5 outfits. So it's so easy. It's just a very simplistic, easy way to build a wardrobe.
Yeah. I love that. And you're going to have to come to Dallas and help me create that.
actually have an appointment with a client this afternoon where we are packing for a 2-week vacation for her, and we will be using the column method for
Oh,
that.
awesome. So I want to, because our time has flown by here, so I want to talk about, or let you talk about your new platform and how that, what your goal is with that in helping empower women.
Okay, great. Well, okay, so I've been a professional stylist and a wardrobe consultant for, the past 6 or 7 years now. And originally, my clientele was upscale professional women, CEOs, business owners, who could afford my services. A professional stylist commands, $500 or $600 an hour to consult with their clients.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on a business trip, and I was actually on the plane and was talking to a woman right next to me who was a clerk. She was a clerk in a store, not a clothing store, but she was actually a manager. I think she was a manager. And we got to talking, and she was asking me what I do, and she was like, "Golly, I really could use your help. So how much do you charge?" And I said, "Well, I have a number of services," and I rattled out my services, and she's like, "Wow, I can't do that." And but we continued to talk on the plane, and so I started asking her about, well, do you know your body type? And I was asking her those kind of questions. She had not a clue. She was not wearing the clothing that she should be wearing for her body type. So as sometimes I do, which I should not do, I gave her some advice. She took actually pretty well. And I started counseling with her because she had shared with me too that she had recently been divorced, and she was trying to get out into the dating scene again. And she really just had lost herself through her life. And she was like, "I don't even know who I am anymore. I don't feel confident with myself. I don't know what to wear. I don't know how to dress myself for these new dates and this and that." And so I talked to her just one-on-one as a woman to woman, and I gave her my clothing advice, and then I started talking to her about her confidence and how once she starts dressing the right way, that her confidence is going to soar, and she's going to be able to meet people, men or women or whoever, and she's going to feel comfortable with herself, and she's going to totally own herself and own her look and know that she's got it. She's got this. And when we left, I knew I would never talk to her again. But when we got off the plane, I started thinking to myself, I'm missing out. I'm missing out on a lot because I'm styling women who, they need it, but this woman really needed it.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, what can I do? What can I offer to women like that? Women who can't afford to hire a professional stylist or or a life coach for that matter. And so I said, you know what? I am going to develop an online platform, and it's going to be a club where it will be very reasonable, a monthly subscription. And I am going to provide them not only with teaching them about their body types, but I'm also going to actually show them the clothing that they need to be wearing for their body types. They can actually purchase it from the site if they want to, or just get inspiration to go shopping on their own. I'm also going to give them just general styling advice, like what to wear to a day wedding, or how to dress for casual Friday, or whatever kind of styling tips that they might need. And then while I'm at it, I'm going to provide them with some beauty tips, because gosh, it's not just about the clothes. It's about the hair and the makeup and the skin. Women want to know, how do I take care of my skin? So I'm going to provide them with that. I'm also going to provide them with some confidence boosters and trying to get them to feel good about themselves, and providing positive affirmations that they can download and play in their car, because gosh, that's helped me so much. It's incredible. And then I said to myself, well, I've through my own experiences and my own business travel, I've met so many great life coaches across the globe. I'm going to bring in the expertise of really good life coaches to give advice and guidance. And so I created this platform that it's kind of like the whole mind, body, spirit approach for a ridiculous minimal fee of your Starbucks coffee right there on a monthly basis, and I upgrade it every week. So it's kind of like it's like your weekly fix, your weekly styling fix, or your weekly feel good time to just go to the site and to learn, to digest the information, to grow, and to feel good about yourself.
So give people the URL for the website.
It's www.empoweredstyle.club, CLUB, which is kind of a new little, what do you call that, a tagline at the end or whatever. But yeah, www.empoweredstyle.club. It'll allow you to get on the site and kind of preview the types of posts and articles that we have on there. It'll actually also let you take a body type assessment at no charge without even joining the club. But it's the club price is $7.95 a month if you commit up front for the year, and you actually get a free month trial. Or if you just want to go month to month, it's $14.95 a month without any commitment at all. So really, I think it's really it's something that I wanted to provide from the heart to speak to women who are not in a position to get that professional one-on-one help.
Yeah. Well, and that's why
we also do weekly, monthly webinars too, kind of
Awesome.
like what you and I are doing, where I'll teach some different styling tips and allow for a little Q&A. And then we also have a Facebook page.
I love it, because that's a lot of value that you're offering for such a small amount of money. And I think, I know that it's needed, and I hope that plenty of women, end up joining the club, because it's about receiving that valuable information, but it's also about community and getting tips from other women who are experiencing their own transformation and maybe giving other women tips. So it becomes that ripple effect, right, of just empowering each other all the way around.
Absolutely. That's why I wanted to do the monthly webinar and the Facebook page, because when someone goes on and reads an article or a blog about something that resonates with them, and they can go on that Facebook page and comment about it.
Right.
It just opens up such a great, rich discussion. And I think that a lot of women can identify with some of the issues that some of my subscribers are facing right now. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's why we love you here at Womanars, and love the work that you're doing with women and to help empower women. I mean, we have a lot of synergy, and that's why we have fun together too. So, and I'm really looking forward to having you at our Power Up Your Life virtual conference in August. So you guys, if you want more in-depth information about how to rock an outfit with your body style, Jenny's actually one of our expert trainers during that conference as well, and we're excited to have her and so many other women who are just as passionate. These women that we're having in that virtual conference charge hundreds of dollars an hour, and they are coming to you absolutely free for an entire week of August 22nd through the 26th. So I really encourage you guys, once we have that landing page up, we're going to be sharing it on our Facebook page. I'll be sharing it on my personal page, and I know Jenny will be sharing it with her audiences as well, because it's going to be an amazing time. And I'm just really excited because these women have, most of them and a lot of them have helped me personally. So I know that they are going to be providing you some really great information about how to power up your life or your business. We're going to be having different topics on there, so be on the lookout for that. And Jenny, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your wisdom, your tidbits of wisdom with our audience today, and spending time with us. We really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to share what you did with us, and especially for being vulnerable enough to share your past, a little bit about your struggle with bulimia and how that has really you've turned that around to create something beautiful for women. So thank you.
I think that's what we're all here for, is to help each other. I had a great time, Tilde. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, guys, that's it for Tuesdays with Tilde. I'm Tilde Guajardo, the founder of Womanars, and if you like what you're seeing and hearing, please don't keep it a secret. Share it with your friends and with other women who you think might benefit from it. You can follow us on our YouTube channel. Follow us, of course, here on Facebook. Subscribe to our Facebook live show as well, and you can also follow us on Twitter. So, thank you. Appreciate you.